episode of the B Movie Club. I'm your host Kevin, and this week we'll be discussing the 1984 horror classic, Children of the Corn, starring Linda Hamilton, Peter Horton, and a bunch of corny kids. What can I tell you? For those of you joining us for the first time, the B Movie Club, each week we discuss a certain forgotten classic, guilty pleasure from the past, and we discuss it on the show. We recommend you get Netflix. Go on to Netflix. It's usually streaming instantly, and you can send me your favorite quotes, favorite scenes, anything else you want to get off your chest, movie suggestions. You can reach me on our page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club. You can also contact me through Twitter at KD9575. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube page, KD9575. Children of the Corn. This movie, based ever so loosely upon the short story by Stephen King. A couple are driving across the country for a new job, and they get lost in the mean streets of Nebraska. They find themselves in a town called Gatlin, Nebraska. Along the way, they're distracted to accidentally hit a kid in the middle of the road. They look at the kid. He's wearing kind of Amish attire, if you will. And they discover that his throat had been cut. So he would have been dead no matter what. Okay. They still hit him. I mean, they still weren't watching the road, so I don't know. Yeah, it's a technicality, if you ask me. Anyway, they discover an old abandoned town. And what we realize, the audience, is that 3 years ago, basically these kids were basically, seduced by this charismatic child named Isaac to worship a demon. He who walks behind the rows, he's like a corn god or demon or something. And essentially, by worshiping this deity, they have to kill all the adults. The moment you hit your 19th birthday, you are expected to walk into the cornfield, and then the demon gets you in some way. I didn't write it, guys, okay? I'm just reporting the facts. Anyway, so they're wandering through town. Bert and his girlfriend, Vicky, played by Peter Horton, who you might remember from 30-something, or you might not, I don't know, and Linda Hamilton, who of course was in the Terminator movies, among other things. The town is obviously deserted, okay, but there are these children running around. And eventually the children are coming at them with like farm implements and knives and pitchforks and things like that. There are two nice little kids, evidently, who weren't all in on the whole kill the adults thing, okay? But they had to go along and pretend they're into it just because, what are you going to do, I guess? Linda Hamilton gets kidnapped, and they're preparing to sacrifice her. They have her up on like kind of this cross made out of corn stalks. I don't know. What can I tell you? Bert has to go in, rescue her, rescue the two nice little kids as well, and dispatch with the evil he who walks behind the rows. In his path, you've got Isaac, who's like the head of the cult. Okay, he's like a seer who speaks to the corn god, I guess. And his lieutenant, the creepy red-haired Malachi, who basically leads all the kids, like to get rid of the adults. So watch out. I don't want to spoil everything. I don't want to give it all away. It is streaming instantly on Netflix. You can watch it at your leisure, if you will. But there's a climactic scene at the end where it's Peter Horton kind of letting the kids know, hey, not such a good idea to kill everybody. Just a thought. More of a guideline than a rule. And I guess I'll just reveal it. Spoiler. They get rid of, the corn god, but not before there's kind of a mutiny in the ranks. Malachi is tired of Isaac. He puts Isaac up on one of the crosses, and Isaac gets devoured, I guess, by the corn god, who just looks like, I don't know, some glowing lights. It's 1984. The special effects weren't what we'd have hoped. And then Isaac comes back from the grave. He's like possessed by the corn god now, and he gets rid of Malachi. So there you have it. Good times. Like I said, it was based upon the short story by Stephen King. It's a very short story. If I recall, it's only about 20 pages. Somehow they were able to flesh this out into a feature-length film. Stephen King actually wrote the first screenplay for the movie, but they basically tossed that in the trash and had a different guy named George Goldsmith write the screenplay, which is pretty different. You know, as I said, the short story is only 20 pages long. I mean, what are you going to do? Interestingly enough, if you pay close attention, when Bert and Vicky are driving across country, there's a book sitting on the dashboard. It is Stephen King's The Night Shift, where you can find Children of the Corn in it. I mean, Night Shift was like a collection of short stories by Stephen King. So there you have it. When the first poster came out, celebrating Come See Children of the Corn, they actually misspelled Stephen King's name. Not too good. Ooh. Anyway, Linda Hamilton, Peter Horton, these were one of their first movie roles. So there you go. As we know, they went on to bigger and better things. Isaac and Malachi, those actors, is one of their first things as well. Isaac actually went on, is currently an English teacher in Santa Clarita. So there you go. Malachi, his name is Courtney Gaines. You've seen him in a few other things. He was in Can't Buy Me Love. He was one of Patrick Dempsey's buddies, from like one of his nerdy friends that he kind of turns on, and they wind up pranking his house late at night, and it's all a big problem. So anyway, so you've seen him in many other things. Isaac is very creepy looking, so it kind of limited his movie roles. Sorry, Isaac. Anyway, they actually made the original short story. Originally spawned a short movie called Disciples of the Crow, which I think we all missed. Then, of course, in '84, they made Children of the Corn movie, and actually spawned 7 sequels. 7 sequels. Shocking. Only one of them actually was in the theaters. The rest of them were all straight to video. Shocking, I know. There was also a made-for-TV version that appeared on the Sci-Fi Network that more closely followed the original short story. So there's that. What else can I tell you about this movie? As I said, the short story is a little different. It's actually a lot different. I don't want to spoil everything, but in the original short story, Vicky and Bert aren't nearly as successful getting out of there alive, let's just say. In typical Stephen King fashion, the books typically ended up oftentimes with our heroes not doing so hot. They wind up dead meat, sadly. Whereas movies in Hollywood, they like to have the protagonists live, so that's a big departure, to say the least. The movie actually did fairly well in the box office, comparatively speaking. It cost about $800,000 to make. Made about $14.5 million in box office receipts, which for the time, not too shabby. Obviously, none of the sequels did nearly as well. Now, Siskel and Ebert on At the Movies gave it thumbs down. They were not big fans of this movie. You have to be the judge yourself, okay? I enjoyed it. It's by no means the finest film that the world has ever known, but it's not bad. It's fun for what it is. It currently holds 39% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. For shame, I say. So anyway, like I said, it is still streaming instantly on Netflix, so check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Next week, I'm going to go back to the comedy genre. I'm going to be doing Top Secret, starring Val Kilmer. This was one of the comedy movies made by Zucker, Abrams Zucker, the guys who did Airplane. So it's that same kind of wacky comedy. It mixes kind of a James Bond kind of thing with Nazis and musical theater. There you go. Val Kilmer plays a young teenage heartthrob who constantly bursts into song while taking on the Nazis. So there you go. Top Secret. Also starring Peter Cushing and Omar Sharif and a cast of thousands, so you know it's got to be good. It is currently streaming on Netflix, so check it out. Don't forget to send me any questions, comments, favorite scenes, favorite quotes. Again, like my page on Facebook, Original B Movie Club. Subscribe to our page on YouTube, and you can contact me directly anytime, day or night, on Twitter at KD9575. Don't forget to spread the word. Tell all your homies about us over here, okay? As you know, I end every episode with a totally out of context quote. And here it is. We come to bring you peace. There's that one. There's a few others I like. There's, he wants you to, Malachi. He wants you to. So, there's that one as well. Thank you for joining us next week. Top Secret. Be well.